then tonight Sam Hauser goes out there, scores 33 points, and it really feels like the Celtics are just kind of jacking around out there. But really, a player right now I'm looking at and going, there's no jacking around with this player because this is getting more and more serious out here. And it's about Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis releases what I would deem a slightly concerning tweet during the game, really an hour into the game. And this is how it reads. Kristaps Porzingis says, I have been dealing with some viral illness that we haven't been able to fully identify yet,
Oh,
which my eyebrows are raised right now. I am recovering and getting better, but still working my way back to full strength to help this team. Thanks for support, and I'm hoping for a healthy return soon. So Kristaps Porzingis, he's missed including tonight, 7 of the last ball games for the Boston Celtics. And after a slew of great health for Kristaps Porzingis and what seemed like was just a simple illness, now seems like it's something serious for Kristaps Porzingis. And really, I look at that tweet and I go, I'm not exactly full of optimism after
no.
looking at that tweet. And Kristaps, of course, releases it during the game, about an hour into the game. And Kristaps not playing tonight, hasn't played 7 of the last 8 ball games. And this illness just seems to be something a little bit more serious. But as of right now, what are your guys' concerning, or what is your concern level for Kristaps Porzingis? We'll start with you, Franco.
Viral illness that hasn't been determined yet. Those are some interest. That's uh, that's not the message you want to hear from your doctor when you go in for the checkup.
Really no. That's like those are the worst words. I'm sitting there reading the tweet, going, "What is this? We don't know about it yet.
That
For
that
real?
I mean, that
It's March."
they have to be able to diagnose what's going on with him, and I'm really hoping that it's nothing serious and not an illness that can hinder him in a physical aspect outside of basketball. And I hope that it this can be diagnosed, and obviously hearing that he is improving and feeling better is a great sign for the Boston Celtics, but it just continues to defend our saying of keep the bubble wrap on him. It's now we have to get a hazmat suit around him. We'll bubble wrap hazmat suit. I forget what show it was, but there was some show that generated a meme of that. But they have it's just something that really rate as you said raises the eyebrows and causes for some concern, but obviously with the release of the information that he is feeling better is all we can hope for, and wishing him the best of luck in his recovery.
Okay, so we talk about concern meter. I would say right now, out of the 10, I'm at a 6. Um, I'm gonna say this. I'm no doctor, but from my perspective, this winter has sucked with sicknesses. So it's totally possible that he's caught like several different sicknesses and like he's just battling through them. That's totally a possibility, I guess. Because like what do you mean it's something that we don't know about? Like, okay, I don't know about that. But the thing about Porzingis is it's at a 6 because could this just be injury management? Obviously, you don't want to come out and say it because if you're healthy, you're supposed to play, like you're not supposed to just sit. So could we just say, and this tweet might have built it up a little more so it doesn't look like, all right, you're just sitting, that's from my perspective. Now, does it alarm me? Yes, that's why it's at a 6 because with Porzingis, it's there's a lot better basketball teams out there this year. You have the Cavs, who I think we could ultimately face in the playoffs, where you're gonna need Porzingis for those games. You probably are. You definitely will. You're gonna need Porzingis when you face the Thunder or the Nuggets. Like you need Porzingis for those big games. So does it alarm me? Yes, because could this be something else? Could this be something bigger than what we're seeing? And it's just not out. It alarms me a lot, but at the same time, I think that kind of 4%, like on that, so it's not a 10 out of 10, is maybe it's just injury management. They know they could get wins without Porzingis, and they're like, all right, we're not going to die out there without you. So if we rest you up and make sure you're 100% for playoffs, that's what we would prefer, because we don't want to take any risks. So I'm kind of in that boat. It could be injury management, because come on, how can you? You're right. Eyebrows are raised. Like what? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? So it's definitely a little concerning, but is it through the roof? No.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, Griffin? You actually, I have nothing to say. You literally just said everything that I was literally just holding in. Every single thing. Like you mentioned, right? Honestly, I'm just gonna reiterate it, right? I'm just gonna say right now, yeah, to me, that is just straight up, I don't want to say BS, but it's to me, especially like if he came out and said, "Oh, I have COVID. Oh, I have the flu." Okay, sure. He's not gonna lie about what he has. Like if he actually has something, like, you know, if he has it, he has it. He's not gonna lie about COVID or whatever. But the fact that he basically said he doesn't know, they don't know. To me, in my head, that went off like, okay, right? I mean, what you have is a bad case of the I don't want Boston fans to get pissed at me again. That's what you have. And so right now we have no idea what it is. But to me, it's he probably tweaked an ankle or he's got a calf strain. And if I'm being completely honest right now, guys, like you said, Griffin, shut them down until the playoffs. Just shut them down.
Yes,
Just
100%.
like for real. Just it's we've locked up the second seed, right? We're basically it's basically a lock at this point. We're gonna match up with either the Knicks or the Cavs at some point, or both at some point in the playoffs, right? We're gonna need Porzingis. I mean, we saw our interior defense tonight, right? The defense in the paint was abysmal, right? And part of that was not having Horford too. But come playoffs, we need Horford and Porzingis. I'm sorry, but I'm 1,000% taking Horford and Porzingis over Kata and Cornette, and I think that's pretty obvious. But come playoffs, I think it's very important to have all four of them at 100%, because if Porzingis does need a game, say we're up 3-0 in a series, and he needs a game off, will we be comfortable still getting that sweep if we have Horford and Kata out there, or Horford and Cornette as our 1-2 for our bigs, right? But back to Porzingis, it's just, to me, we just need to err on the side of caution. And with a player as fragile as Kristaps Porzingis, it's so tremendously, like, we just need to have Porzingis in the play. He can't be missing any games, like, in the playoffs. Like in all four rounds, we need him all 16. Well, probably more than 16 games, but I'm just saying we need him in every single game. And these meaningless games right now, um, I'm not willing to really give up his health for the playoffs in these next couple games.
Well, Kristaps Porzingis tonight, Kristaps Porzingis, didn't play the seventh of the last eight games for the Boston Celtics, and really, I look at that and go, something might actually be up here, because if the Celtics were really just resting Kristaps Porzingis, I really do believe he'd be rested more in the sense of playing every other game, maybe not playing two games, playing one game, and him being added to the rotation every now and then. Seven of the last eight games, he's just out. I mean, he's been out for six straight games now. And to me, I look at that and go, that is not all that normal for resting players. You usually don't rest players for multiple weeks like that. You might rest him for 2 games here, there, or 1 game, but really 2 weeks plus. That's something
Well,
that's really not normal. And to me, that's where it gets into the more optimistic side is the more conspiratorial side about
Yeah.
this whole injury business. I mean, really, the optimistic side is, oh, he's resting. The team is really sitting him out. He'll be fine. He doesn't know what this illness is. And really, the conspiratorial part is, well, what if he comes out with an illness and he goes and tweets about it and makes him look like he's, really trying to fight back from this illness, and instead of the entire fan base being mad at Kristaps Porzingis for not playing and resting, they're actually praying for him to come back healthy, and they're really rooting for him on his road to recovery if he was, of course, staging that. But to me, that is a more conspiratorial side of this entire thing. It's, oh, is he resting? Is it Kristaps Porzingis just sitting out? The Celtics are sitting him out. I think with the tweet we saw today, something that indicates to me is he doesn't know when he's coming back to the basketball floor. He doesn't know.
well,
I don't think he
Seamus,
knows whatsoever. I mean,
Seamus,
go ahead, Randy.
no, I was just gonna say, here's the thing though, guys, right? Isn't there I don't know exactly how like NBA logistics work here, but on the injury report, right, we obviously see it says illness, and you can't lie about that. Like I'm pretty sure like that's pretty like
No.
straight. Like there have been like investigations where it's like, well, I'm gonna call out someone we're pretty familiar with like Embiid, right? Where he was just getting rested for just strictly load management and rest. And there have been like serious investigations. I don't know if it was with Embiid, but I know for a fact there have been like internal investigations about, okay, are we just giving him the night off and saying it's for whatever, but it's really just for rest. And that's the other thing. Like, can they even do like I'm if they're putting illness, like I mean, I guess if he had like a mild fever, but then he has like an ankle tweak or like a calf injury, they could just say illness because technically they're not lying, but it's like, it's like a white lie. It's like, no, there's something bigger going on here. And we're just going to use that, 99.5 fever to just, but I'm curious to what you guys think. Like, isn't there some sort of like protocols where it's like, you can't lie about that on injury reports, at least anymore.
You can't. I think it was Kawhi, maybe.
Yeah,
It
or
was either
something, but
Kawhi
I
or
remember
Embiid.
that.
Yeah. And you can't. And that's why like it scares me because do they launch an investigation on
That's what I'm
Porzingis?
saying.
Because
Like, I'm
that
confused. Like,
tweet, that's not anything like I get it.
they don't
If
mess around with it, like
no,
this stuff.
they don't. The NBA is so strict on that. So that's kind of definitely
I mean, Seamus, what do you think? Because, like I said, I don't know what the policy is, but I know for a fact you cannot be like, oh, I have an illness, but really it's just for rest. Like
Yeah, you can't lie about an injury report, but I know you can say miscellaneous things. Like tonight, Jason Tatum's out with knee tendinopathy.
what?
Like Jason Tatum and his knee tendinopathy. I mean, I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned about this moving
Yeah, he'll be
forward.
fine tomorrow,
I
but
mean, really, those are the type of terms you'll hear. Tendinopathy.
or like a knee
What are
strain.
the contusions, right? The
Oh yeah, those. Yeah.
strains, contusions, tendinopathy. Those are the terms you'll hear on the injury report when guys are really sitting out and they're resting, because
So,
sure they
but
can be,
illness though, like illness, it's like
but
you
that's where
can't. I
I'm
mean,
saying this is actually more
yeah, like
concerning to me than on the surface of just, oh, he might be resting, because Kristaps Porzingis, if he wanted to just rest, he'd be out every other game and it would just be, oh, ankle management or calf
yeah,
management or, oh,
or it'd be like
strain, whatever.
ankle strain.
Yeah, and now it's, well, he's out with an illness. He's been out the last 6 games with an illness, and he just tweeted out something that to me sounds like
Yeah.
he is not coming back anytime soon, or hasn't. I
I'm
shouldn't say
thinking like
anytime soon, but has no idea when he's coming back.
did
If
he
he's
like
fighting a viral illness, I think too that could be something regarding surgery. Maybe he had 2 surgeries last year, if I'm not mistaken, or right, 2 surgeries for Kristaps. Was it
yeah.
1 or 2 surgeries? Regardless, had himself operated on his legs last year. Could be within something surrounding his legs, could be something else. But the fact he doesn't know what the illness is, I that's where I look at that tweet and go, I don't know if he knows when he's going to be back. And That is kind of scary from the standpoint of if he has some kind of viral infection within the incisions of where he had his last operation
Yeah,
or
that's
wherever,
true. I didn't even think about that.
if he had plates, screws, whatever put in to where he was being operated on, what if they have to operate on Kristaps Porzingis
Yeah,
again? What if he
I didn't
can't?
even think of that.
That's
Either.
that's
Yeah,
I'm going
that's
worst case scenario
yeah.
here, but I'm saying that
No,
tweet. I feel
Prepare
like
for the worst, hope for the best.
I feel like we've seen that tweet before, though. I feel like we've seen tweets like that where it's like, oh, this isn't signaling that he's coming back.
I
It's
know. I
signaling
didn't
that
even think about that. I was thinking more
he's
like,
not coming back
oh,
soon.
yeah, I
No,
was thinking more like something else. But no, now
no,
that
he
you
doesn't
say
have to
that,
run.
Makes
yeah,
sense. That makes
wow,
sense though. Because you
yeah,
think
wow,
about, like
cool.
with the flu or something, like you think about it, I had the flu recently and I was sick for about a week, and then you recover, you have a slow recovery, like conditioning back, but it's not 7 games worth. Like I didn't even think about that, and that's scary to
Me
think
neither.
about because that's something. But do you think with infection though that would come up a lot sooner? I feel like.
Maybe.
I'm not sure when an infection can arise, but to me, I know that people have had problems way far away from their surgery date,
Yeah, that's
from
true.
just
Yeah,
having certain like that to me, like I don't know what Kristaps Porzingis exactly had done, but I know if you have screws put in, if you have a plate put in, if you have artificial things inside of you, your immune system, obviously in the body, attacks foreign objects to the body. So if there's anything running through you, virus, whatever it is, the immune system attacks it. Well, if the immune system has an adverse reaction to whatever hardware is put into the body during surgery, well, then it could attack that as well, and that's when those infections arise. And that
yeah,
to me, if I'm looking at Kristaps Porzingis's history and his health as of late, I look at that tweet tonight and go, WTF? This is not good. I'm just saying it right now. He could be back 2 games from now, and we'll all be sitting here going, well, I guess he's back. Great. But I'm on that orange meter right now, the panic level
yeah,
of this injury, because I'm going 6 straight games miss, 7 of the last 8. He doesn't know what the infection is. He just sent out a tweet to let everybody know, try to calm him down. But really, his tweet, the way it was structured too, you can tell he typed it, so he didn't have some kind of social media person do it. I think Kristaps Porzingis did it on his own. Um,
yeah,
but
Very true.
sometimes those occasions too will release more because if it's from a team, right, or if it's from a news outlet, right, it's structured, it's very filtered, it's very okay. We're going to structure it like this to give it out to the public, so there's no reaction from it one way or the other. Well, Kristaps Porzingis, if he wrote the tweet himself, when I was reading it, I was going, oh, if the team would never release something like this, or news outlets would never release something like this, like where I'm reading it going, okay, so you have no idea what the infection is? No clue. I mean that to me is really what's ringing alarm bells here because no idea. I mean that's a problem. That is a legitimate
That
problem.
yeah,
Go ahead, Franco.
yeah, you just can't be like courteous with these types of injuries or this type of infection. It's kind of from reading it. It had me worried from the start of reading it. I just don't like the fact that it's undiagnosed what is going on and the fact that he felt the need to reach out and be able to put that information out. I think that I would have assumed that would have been a responsibility that the Celtics PR team would have taken full jump ahead of and been able to tell him what to release and tell him what information we can give to the general public, what we want to keep a little bit more under wraps. And I definitely hearing those words, it makes me stray away from the conspiracy of this being a rest play or anything like that. And you need to be much more on the safer end with these types of things. And one thing that the team needs to be ready for is to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. Hopefully, this is hopefully he's just had the toilet run for the past week and hasn't been able to make it onto the game without getting back on a toilet 15 minutes later. That's what we can hope for. But from the sounds of things, it's just not sounding like something that is going to be resolved within a set amount of time. He could be, like you said, Seamus, he could be back against the Thunder for all we know. But until we get a diagnosis and during a team press conference, we have a medical report come out from the team. We just don't know what to expect at this point. So making sure to have these guys ready to roll, Al Horford, Nehemiah Skata, Luke Cornett, that's going to be imperative and something to really keep an eye on and closely monitor as we near closer to the end of the regular season.
I want to say too, I feel like definitely Seamus that bumped the worry level up to a 7. All right, we added one on. I won't lie. So a little more alarmed now that you said that. But I also want to say this. I feel like we're thinking the most negative things possible. You also need to still carry some optimism with it. So I feel like realistically, like, all right, Porzingis, I'm a big fan on Porzingis. I love Porzingis, but I would kind of stay away from tweeting that because for one, you're making your situation worse. All right, I get it. You have fans confused on why does it still say illness, but get off social media. Don't tweet that because now we're. What was up?
Let the team do that.
Yeah, let the team do that because now we're here. We're like, all right, well,
speculation.
Yeah, it's speculations, and it's like we gotta think optimistic. We gotta think, all right, maybe he's had several sicknesses, and it's just been putting him down and further back. And then we also gotta think of maybe this is a way where kind of he was sick, but now we're kind of just injury management. I would just say shut him down till playoffs. I think Randy said it earlier. Just let him rest. Like if we're getting into this, Boston is more than capable to sustain throughout the rest of the regular season. Shut him down until we need him most, and that is in playoffs. Because that's alarming, and that
like we'll lose our whatever games we're gonna lose in the regular season. I still think we're a lock for the 2nd seed. But come playoffs, like you said, Griffin, that is when we need him the most, right? Like I mentioned earlier, like fine, we'll lose however many games left, right? We'll lose a couple, that's fine, then we'll get mad, I'll be pissed off, whatever. And let me be mad, let us let us be mad, let me rage bait a little bit. But come playoffs, that's when we need them the most. So it's like, I'll suck it up for 3, 4, 5 games, however many games we lose.
That's a lot.
If it's fine, we'll give it 3 games. Say we lose 3 games the rest of the season without Porzingis, right? I'll suck it up. I'll rage bait a little. I'll get mad, but after that, come playoffs, when we hoist banner number 19, guess who's not going to be mad? This guy. So it's fine.